Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharani Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasavi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So welcome to Krishna Connection, and today's topic is Uddhava visits Vrindavan. So it's a meditative topic, it's a sweet topic, it's a topic which has so many layers and levels of philosophy, devotion, rasa, and interactions. And I just wanted to share some realizations on this, and we can have a discussion at the end. Let me see if I can share the screen without, I won't be able to share it all the time. Okay, this is basically Uddhava, who is already in Vrindavan and reading the letter of Krishna. But I would like us to exercise our ability to meditate on this beautiful topic with our mind's eye. So I will begin with the... See, after Krishna and Balaram went to Mathura and Kamsa was already dead, they killed Kamsa, and Balaram had killed all the 8 brothers of Kamsa, and also the Mushtika and Chanura were defeated by Krishna and Balaram. So right after that incident, what happens is Devaki and Vasudev, they're in a very reverential mood towards Krishna. So they actually see Krishna and they don't actually have Vatsalya mood. They're actually like folding their palms and like extreme gratitude towards Krishna because, you know, they released them from this terrible condition under Kamsa's clutches. And then right after that, news gets out that actually Krishna is the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Actually, he's not son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And that news is devastating for Nanda Maharaj. But at the same time, for Devaki and Vasudev, they are just filled with emotion of gratitude towards Krishna. And Nanda Maharaj is informed that Krishna will not go back to Vrindavan. So we may wonder, he already killed Kamsa, he already killed all these demons. What does he have to still do in Mathura? Why don't you go back to Vrindavan, Krishna? But there were so many other people, such as Jarasandha, and there were other demons. I forget the names actually. Let me just look at the notes. There are several that needed to still be tackled. Narakasura, Banasura, and Jarasandha. All these 3 were still needed to be tackled by Krishna, and there's a whole family history. Jarasandha had married Kamsa's sisters, and there is this work still needs to be done. So Krishna explains that I still need to get a lot of things done here, and I will not come back to Vrindavan. I need to stay here like much longer. So right after that, Vrindavan is doomed in separation from Krishna. It is said that, you know, when you love somebody, when we are with them, hanging out with them, doing things with them, etc., etc., at one point, some sort of complacency takes place and we're like, yeah, I like this person, but we are together. But, you know, it's like familiarity breeds contempt. But the actual love and the depth of a relationship is seen in separation. Because when we are separated from somebody we really love, then the intensity of that love is experienced when we are far away from that person. Now, the gopis are experiencing that separation while Krishna is in Mathura, and Krishna is, he cannot forget the gopis' love and affection, and he also has internal purposes why he actually decides to send his cousin, right? Uddhava is his cousin. So when Krishna and Balaram go back to Gurukul, they want to complete their education. Krishna learned in one day. He learned the 64 arts. That's our Krishna. Now, Krishna had already finished dancing on the Kaliya serpent. He already killed Kamsa. He already killed all these demons. And now he goes to Gurukul to learn. And of course, it is said that Sandipani Muni knew all the 64 arts. Which teacher nowadays knows 64 arts, all the 64 arts? We send our kids for, harmonium to one teacher, singing to another teacher, piano to another teacher, martial arts to another teacher. But Sandipani Muni was a guru that knew everything. So after the education of Krishna and Balaram, there is a description about how Uddhava, he actually is the cousin of Krishna who looked like Krishna. He had the same complexion as Krishna, and he had a habitual pattern to wear Krishna's clothes, to wear Krishna's jewelry, to wear whatever was worn by Krishna, he would wear it. So that was Uddhava. And the internal purpose is revealed that Krishna never does anything with one purpose. He's always, his purposes are, his action is one, but then he accomplishes many purposes. So Krishna decides to request Uddhava to carry a message to the gopis in Vrindavan. So when Krishna sends Uddhava to Vrindavan to deliver the message to the Brijvasis, especially the gopis, he's doing it out of love also for Uddhava. Why? Because he wanted to give him the highest mercy. Krishna is, Uddhava is his very close friend, and they have been together, sat on the same bed, they ate together, they had friendship together, and now he wanted to give the highest mercy to Uddhava. He wanted Uddhava to understand the deeper aspects of bhakti, the deeper aspects of unconditional love and surrender and Atmanivedana, the complete sense of giving yourself to Krishna, so that Uddhava can understand that sweetness, that he can understand the depth and that purity of love in separation. So even though Krishna and Uddhava were always together, always they spent a lot of time, they would speak confidential subject matters, they would joke together, and it is said how the Uddhava Gita, right? The whole 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Uddhava Gita. There's a whole one full canto of instructions, which is about Bhakti Yoga and devotional service. So now we may wonder what it is that Uddhava still didn't know. And that was one of the purposes that Krishna sends Uddhava to Vrindavan, so to inspire him with something that he didn't have, which is the intimate affection and love, especially conjugal affection towards Krishna, which the residents of Vrindavan had. And so Uddhava comes with a purpose in his mind. He's thinking that he is serving Krishna, he is doing something for Krishna, he's coming to give something to the Brajvasis, but actually very soon he realizes that he's actually there to receive. He's actually receiving an understanding of true, pure, deep, spontaneous love for Krishna. And when the chariot of Uddhava arrives in Vrindavan, it was at the Ghor Dhuli time. It means all the cows and the calves were returning home. So there was this whole dust rising up in Vrindavan. So not many people saw the chariot of Uddhava coming into Vrindavan. So Uddhava arrives, this royal chariot. He's a prince, right? He's a prince of royalty. So he arrives in the house of Nanda Maharaj, he parks his chariot, and then he goes inside to speak to Nanda Maharaj, because the first message was for Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. And as he enters the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj receives him with great respect. Immediately when Nanda Maharaj looks at him, he immediately recognizes that this person looks like Krishna. But also Nanda Maharaj knows that it's not Krishna. So he is, even though he's filled with separation, Nanda Maharaj gathers his senses together and his mind, and he is trying to be as hospitable as possible with Uddhava. And then he invites him in, and then, but Mother Yashoda is another story. Mother Yashoda's separation from Krishna was so deep that she just was unable to manage her emotions in such a way that she could give the appropriate attention to Uddhava. She was just so lost in separation with Krishna. She was so much in love with Krishna that although Uddhava is like a son to Yashoda, she was unable to give that sort of an affection and the parental vatsalya affection that Uddhava deserved, etc., because Mother Yashoda was drowning in separation from Krishna. So when Nanda Maharaj brings this message, Uddhava brings this message to Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaj is like inconsolable. At the same time, he's trying to keep himself together. Okay, so that's one point there. When Uddhava approaches Mother Yashoda, she is just like completely speechless. She's just so absorbed in thinking of Krishna. So one of the descriptions of Vaishnavacharyas is how when we are absorbed in Krishna's service, right? And we're so absorbed and we're not able to perform our duty, that's like another level of spontaneous love for Krishna. In our cases, we need to be very careful to not imitate those situations. But it is said that when we're doing it out of intense love for Krishna, we may make some mistakes in the rules and regulations, but bhakti is what counts. It's similar to like Shabari, whose devotion and affection for Ramachandra, she was crying and saying, I'm not able to give you adequate words. I'm not able to worship you with adequate rules and regulations because I'm just overwhelmed with this ecstasy and love for you. So in this case, it's like an opposite situation where Mother Yashoda is like unable to do her duty of taking care of the guest because of her affection to Krishna. So if we actually look at this situation, this pastime, what's happening in Vrindavan and what's happening in Mathura is exactly opposite. In Mathura, Krishna is enlivening everybody, he is enlightening everybody, he is going everywhere. I mean, there are so many ways to see the pastime where it's like, in one sense, it's like an opposite situation. Okay, so in Vrindavan, everybody's drowning in separation. So early morning comes, sun rises, the gopis all wake up, and then they're trying to do their morning duties, and then they see this royal chariot in front of Nanda Maharaj's house, and they're like, oh my God, what is this? Has Akrura come back to take our very lives and suck the life out of us again? Has Akrura come here to take our bodies and offer it in oblation because they know that Kamsa is already killed? So they are wondering if Akrura is back because, they're simple people of Vrindavan and they see this royal chariot. And in Vrindavan, there's not many chariots going around, and they know it's from Mathura. As soon as they see the chariot, they know it's from Mathura. So they are like actually with resentment in their heart. They're wondering if Akrura is back. So in that aggrieved situation, they actually rush towards the house of Nanda Maharaj, and then they see Uddhava, and then they look at Uddhava and they see like, oh my God, he looks like Krishna. So they all corner him. The gopis take him to the corner and they're like, what's going on? And Uddhava is extremely respectful because he knows that these are the gopis who are intimate friends of Krishna. So he's very, very, with etiquette, he is keeping a distance and then he's trying to explain. And then the gopis have their moods and they're expressive about their emotions. And they're like, oh, so is Krishna having a good time in Mathura? Is he satisfied with the women of Mathura? And how come, he wants to show that he cares for us and he has sent you here? Why couldn't he come by himself? Why did he send you? And why did he send you? Just to kind of show that he is still thinking about Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, whose lives are drowning in separation from Krishna. So has he sent you here just to show to the world that he cares? Is that why he couldn't come? And then, they go on rebuking Uddhava. And Uddhava is observing this intense feelings of the gopis as he reveals that he has a message from Krishna. And then the gopis are like, oh, there's a message, and they're all very eager. And then they ask Uddhava to read the message for them. And then Uddhava opens the letter, and then he starts reading. And there's beautiful descriptions about how whenever Uddhava is saying certain things, like, for example, Krishna says in the letter, I'm always thinking about you, and I'm just making this happen, the separation happen, because I want to increase your intensity and love and affection for me. And then the gopis are like, yeah, Krishna, come back if you really want our affection, and things like that. And then when Krishna says things like, I'm actually in the hearts of all living entities, and the very high philosophical truths when Krishna is revealing, the gopis actually understand it to be a very intimate, deep sense of consolation about how Krishna is saying, I'm always living in your hearts, and I will never forget your love wherever I am. And so they are able to understand the intricate complexities of philosophy in the most highest form of rasa, which is the conjugal rasa, which is the madhurya rasa. And they're able to derive the basic meanings of philosophical understanding. I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am in the hearts of all living entities. They are able to understand that in the most confidential of all the rasas. So that is something very exciting and fascinating to see. Now, when finally, when Uddhava reads the message that Krishna says, I will come back. I will come back soon. So the gopis are barely keeping themselves alive, because they're so engrossed and they're so devastated by the separation of Krishna that they don't even care to live. But the only reason they survive is because of Krishna's Shakti, Krishna's empowerment, Krishna's mercy, and with the hope that Krishna will come back. So that's the only message that actually captures their attention. And Krishna is saying, I will come back. I have certain duties to attend to, but I will come back. That's the only thing that they're able to hang on to, cling to. And as this whole episode is going on, there is one special gopi, our Srimati Radharani, who is again in another level of depth and separation, that she is talking to this bumblebee who is around her. I actually just received bumblebees. I'm going to make something for the garland of these bumblebees. And so this is this bumblebee, when it starts to buzz around Srimati Radharani, out of her excessive separation and the depth and the devotion and the love and the surrender and the unconditional surrender and expectation of union with Krishna, the whole Brahma, what is it called? Is it called Brahma? What is it called? What Gita? I forget the name now.
Brahma Gita. Brahma Gita. Brahma Gita.
Right? Yeah.
Brahma Gita.
Yeah, Brahma Gita. So the whole, it's a very, very confidential and intimate thing, and we will get into it maybe another time, but not today. But this point of Uddhava coming to that point of understanding that depth and the love and experiencing it firsthand, and looking at the emotions of the gopis and looking at their behavior, these simple village girls milking cows and churning yogurt, and this great prince from Mathura, from the Yadu dynasty, very esteemed royal personality, watching these gopis and in his devotion, he wants to actually immediately take the dust of the lotus feet of these gopis and put it on his head. He wants to go and ask for that. But obviously, if he just goes and says, hey, I'm so impressed by your devotion, please give me, if I ask all of you, please give me a little bit of dust from your lotus feet, you wouldn't give me, right? So similarly, Uddhava realizes by just asking like that, it's not going to happen. So he actually wishes to be born as the grass in Rajadam, so that the gopis can step on that grass, and in that way he can get purified. So Uddhava's humility is exalted humility, is such an exalted devotee. So he prayed from his heart, from the deepest core of his heart, to become a creeper and a blade of grass in Sri Vrindavan Dham, so that the gopis and the Brajvasis and the servants may step on his head and he can get the dust of their lotus feet. And he considered that to be the greatest treasure. So that shows to us that when we associate with devotees who have bhakti, and when we can be in their shelter and then serve them, then we can also get that emotion of affection and bhakti. So let me see what else. If anybody wants to add something, I mean, I'm not getting into all the points, but this is something I wanted to share. The points about devotion and separation and humility and becoming more and more intensely absorbed in these leelas and pastimes. It gives us fulfillment. It gives, it uplifts us. Uddhava is, I was hearing to this lecture, Uddhava is millions and millions times more intimate okay, so he's so great, that then we can imagine millions of times greater than what we can imagine, because he wanted to be a blade of grass in Vrindavan Dham. So he can see that as an achievement of his life, and he didn't even think that he deserved to get the lotus feet, the dust of the lotus feet. So his prayers indicate that humility is what is the greatest quality that wins the heart, and the respect towards the Dham, the respect towards the devotees also is an essential element here. Okay, I guess the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Tranadapi, Sunichena, Taroriva Sahishnana, Ammanina, Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. That's actually Uddhava's approach to Vrindavan Dham and towards the gopis. Okay, so those are some points for today. And I want to ask any of you if you have any other points you remember from any other classes, or any questions, comments.
That's so beautiful. I was remembering this one point that I heard regarding this, like the message that Uddhava is carrying, which is specifically encoded for Srimati Radharani, because there was a particular word, I think it means Radharani's name. So this entire verse, there were a lot of messages that he gave, but that particular verse that when Uddhava says, Radharani understands this is especially for me. So I was just thinking from this recollection, and also with what you're saying, like each of us are craving to be like so special for Krishna, right? Instead of understanding that, and we are actually different, we are special, we are unique for Krishna. Instead of that, we are trying to find that specialness in, to be special to somebody here in the material world, correct? So that if it's like, pushed or like what is redirected towards Krishna, right? Then that will be like, the best for us. So that is my lesson. And also, second thing that came to my mind is, second thing that came to my mind is like how whatever we want to see, only that gets amplified. If the gopis were thinking about Krishna, so when Uddhava came, their mind, because it was so much thinking of Krishna, the only thing that resonated when they saw the image of Uddhava was Krishna. So what we are very much identifying with inside, that same thing that we see outside, that message gets amplified more and more. So what we are looking for inside, we can see that outside also. So whatever for us, like Satakala condition for like me, whatever I'm seeing, whatever I'm attracted to, that means that message which I'm getting, that means my understanding is that is what is there in my heart. That's the reason why those things are coming, that those messages are coming, becoming more and more. Why? Because that's what I'm craving for. So I need to check whether that's the right thing. And sometimes it's really beautiful things, but sometimes it's not. So I'll have to like realign and like recalibrate what are the real desires which needs to be amplified, like that. Second thing that came to my mind.
Wow. Yeah. And the first point you said, that is so true, that whether we know it or not, the person that we love the most and we have affection is Krishna. And the only person who can reciprocate to our love and affection in the best way is Krishna. So whether we know it or not, we are so dear to Krishna. Krishna loves us beyond our imagination. And whether we know it or not, we also love Krishna in our free from conditioning level of who we are. We love Krishna immensely, but it's just all these samskaras and conditionings that prevent us from experiencing that joy, experiencing that love for Krishna, which will make us actually happy. And then, as you said, amplifying those desires and those qualities in ourselves, which brings us closer to Krishna, is our job. Everything else is up to Krishna, but it's so important to do that. And that's why these sanghas help us. So we can actually amplify those desires to hear Krishna Katha, to do kirtan, to reveal our minds in confidence and clear up our doubts and focus on the important. Yeah. Any other comments?
So what stands my mind is like, what great fortune to even discuss such intimate, esoteric kind of a pastimes, right? It's not easy and like an everyday thing that we get a chance to even hear such things. So I'm really grateful to your Vrindavan pastimes, and to Uddhava coming to Vrindavan. Very, very beautiful.
Yeah, that's our hope, right? That's what we live for. I mean, all these other meetings that we do, the emotional support groups, other meetings, is basically so that we come to this point of relishing these pastimes with a pure heart, and we can absorb. And as you said, so we can amplify these desires. But if we don't work on those anarthas and weeds, then we amplify only the anartha parts. So that's why we need to do this also. We should. I liked all our classes that we gave during Purushottam, all of you gave. It was so wonderful. I'm waiting to restart that after Radhashtami. We should have topics like this.
And so what I'm thinking is, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is coming to give us into this great Vrindavan Dham, Shri Vrindavan Dham, in the mood of the Rajvasis. Just imagine, look at Uddhava. He said he's like millions and millions of times. So great. What a position he had, right? Outside of Vrindavan and all, it was Uddhava is the closest to Krishna. And he is like aspiring to become a Gulmalata, right? Like a grass. And then what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us, like where do we compare to Uddhava? And what is he ready to give us? Like, like that, we feel the heart becomes even more like grateful towards the gift that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving, Gauranga is giving, the whole Panchatattva is giving, bestowing upon conditioned Kali Yuga soul.
Yeah, really. Look at this Kali Yuga. People are so lost in Maya and bad habits and all crazy movies and advertisements, and the whole world is going to hell. Somehow or another, we got saved and we got pulled by Srila Prabhupada or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. We're given shelter of the holy name and Srimad Bhagavatam and association of devotees. Wow, what a good fortune. How did I become so lucky? I was looking at some of my relatives and thinking, like, oof, just really got washed, swept away and washed away in this material, this rat race and everything. Somehow we became so fortunate. We have our Guru Maharaj's mercy, and we have Srila Prabhupada's books, and we have holy name. Ooh, so, we must feel so grateful for this.
It's only start with the desire, the small desire, which creates a big thing.
Yeah,
So,
as Tarunirada was saying, exactly. She said that, right? Yeah. Desire and willingness, right? That willingness to. And they say, even once when we tell Krishna, I'm your servant, he won't forget it. He will always try to be there, protect us. What was it? There's a song, there's a bhajan. Hari Nama Sankirtane Anudina Malpage Narakabayagalunte Namavande Yamanal Kalanwadedu Ajamilanige Sukshema Vanitanta Nama Sankirtane Anudina Malpage Narakabayagalunte. In the same song, it says that 7 generations before you will be liberated by your one desire. Chant the holy name. I was also saying the other day, imagine some thief comes to the house or somebody comes to the house, breaks all the furniture, makes a mess, creates a chaos, and then breaks everything, and then while going and leaving calls out your name. Rajeshwari Radhika, Taruni Radha, Rukmini Priya, Malini, or Sri Radha Govinda, whatever the names, right? Will we be able to forgive that person for breaking all the stuff and creating a mess and bringing such a devastation to our home? Will we be able to? Well, I wouldn't be able to. But Krishna is such a person that, the whole world is his home, his temple. It's his temple. And we come there, we create chaos, we break things, we do all sorts of nonsense. And then he says, if you just call my name one time, I'll forgive you. What's amazing Lord we have, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is, as Rukmini Devi also says, that the quality that touched her the most is that he doesn't count the flaws. He only counts even a tiny little bit of desire. He's like, there. He's wanting me. I want to give myself. Because he's a lovesick blue boy. He's waiting for us to turn towards him. And we are, Bhakti Charu Maharaj would often say, in one of the classes, he says that we are all looking for that love. And we are waiting for that lover. And every day we are like wasting time looking here and there. But Krishna is that lover that actually has written you a love letter, and he's waiting every day that one day you'll read it. Kagada bandi de kamalana bhanadu, kagada bandi de kamalana bhanadu. ಈ ಕಾಗದವನ್ನು ಓದಿಕೊಂಡು ಕಳವ ಕಳೆಯಿರೋ ಕಾಗದ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಕಮಲನಾಭನದು ಕಾಮ ಕ್ರೋಧ ಬಿಡಿರೆಂಬೋ ಕಾಗದ ಬಂದಿದೆ. So this bhajan, it indicates how Krishna has sent you a letter. Read it, which is the scriptures, which is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Bhagavad Gita. Read the message. He is showing his love in those messages for you. So Krishna is that person who's like waiting. One day she will turn around and look at me. So he's just basically, he has the entire world, but he's not going to force us to love him. He gives us free will. So that one word, Rajeshwari Radhika said, desire. That one desire, that's it. Krishna wants us to turn towards him. That desire, willingness to turn towards him. So he's a lovesick blue boy.
But one thing is there that we don't know Krishna. Only through Shastra from our Guru, we are coming to know. So, don't know, somehow like go there or to pray to him first, like, because we have a first connection with our Guru.
Mm-hmm.
So, through that, we can create the connection. Through his eyes, we can see Krishna.
Absolutely. ಗುರುವಿನ ಗುಲಾಮನ ಆಗುವ ತನಕ ದೊರೆಯ ದಣ್ಣ ಮುಕುತಿ ಪರಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವನೇಕವನೋದಿ ವ್ಯರ್ಥವಾಯಿತು ಭುಕುತಿ. No, without the mercy of the Guru, without the mercy of, as you said, Shastra Chakshusha, without the vision of the scriptures, without the Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, without that proper vision and understanding by which comes by serving the Guru, we cannot understand self-realization or achieve perfection. Any other comments or questions? Should we end here? Because you are all very quiet today.
I have a question regarding the same, the specialness, right? I was thinking every quality that we have, usually, not usually, originates in Krishna, right? So does that mean that even Krishna has this quality, this desire, or this feeling of I want to be special? I would he wants Radharani's love, like he craves for Radharani's love. Like that, this quality is present in him. Likewise, do we also have this because he has it?
Which
or
quality?
rather,
I didn't understand the question.
This quality to be special, wanting to be special.
I mean, see, this question has many answers. On a Siddhanta aspect level, it very much depends on which, for example, Ramanuja Sampradaya is Vishishtadvaita, okay, which is different from Dvaita philosophy, which is duality. So, for example, I was born in a Madhva Sampradaya, Madhva background, and Dvaita philosophy, Dvaita Siddhanta is what is their path, and that's what they believe in, which means duality between the super soul and the living entity, which means Krishna is the master and we are the servant. And you have seen the picture of Madhvacharya, he has his hand like that. So that represents Dvaita. We are separate. We are two separate. One is Jiva and one is Paramatma, like that. And then there is Ramanuja Sampradaya. Ramanuja Sampradaya is about Vishishtadvaita, which is like, we are different, but there is a special kind of a relation, which is not only Dasya, okay? Because Madhvacharya is Hanuman himself. So he propounded the philosophy of Dasya and Dvaita, because his mood, his rasa is very much about, I am the servant, and Ramachandra is my master, and I am the servant. So that rasa is emphasized. So he's one of our Vaishnavacharyas in the lineage. And then there is Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya is Anantashesh. He's the incarnation of Anantashesh. So his relationship with the Lord is Vishishtadvaita, is a special relationship of the Lord is lying on him. It's Anantashesh is lying on him. So the relation is like, yes, it's servant, but it's a special kind of a servant relationship. Okay, it's an intimate servant relationship. So that's propounded by Ramanujacharya. And then we have, of course, our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is what? Who is this question? Achintya Beda, Abeda Tattva. So our philosophy is simultaneously one and different. So the question can be answered with, there is many questions such as what you just asked. has a two-level answer. One level answer is on the tattva level, on the philosophy level, on the theology level, on the siddhanta level. Another answer is very much on the rasa level. Means, what is your relationship with Krishna? How do you see Krishna? What do you see Krishna as? What's your special, unique connection with the Lord? When, during the pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Murari Gupta is Hanuman himself. Hanuma, Bhima, Madhva, Murari Gupta. So the devotees of Krishna, they appear again and again as Krishna appears. So he appeared also when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And there was an instruction that Mahaprabhu gave him, and which he could not follow because his mind was keep going to Ramachandra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declared, okay, you can worship Lord Ram after that test that he gave, and he found that he's so fixed upon Lord Ram that he said, okay, you can, because he was given an instruction to not think of Lord Ram, think of Krishna, and he was not able to do that. So special or not, it's even among the Pandavas, the 5 brothers, each of them have their own nature and tendencies. There are the gopis, right? There's the left-wing gopis and there's the right-wing gopis. There are devotees, Lalita Sakhi mood is very much challenge Krishna, tell Srimati Radharani to be careful with Krishna, and the whole rasa is very different. Whereas like Tunga Vidya Sakhi, she is the gopi who is very much like submissive and always agreeable and always compliant to Krishna's desires and Krishna's wishes. So the point is, like, it depends very much on the rasa, what you're, this is all like a little bit of a higher level topics, but it's good to kind of have a glimpse of these things, that the more and more we become pakka with our sadhana and sadhana bhakti, and we come to the point of strong faith and nishta, and then we come to the point of getting a taste, and we come to the point of having full blown emotion for Krishna, then the uniqueness is revealed depending on our unique connection with Krishna. So yes, we are all special, but the way we experience that uniqueness will depend on the rasa. So on a tattva level, no, we are Jiva Swarupa Krishna Nityadas, we are servants of Krishna, we stick to that. You do your sadhana bhakti like that, tattva level. Okay, so philosophy level, okay, theology level. But then when we come to rasa level, then the answers will differ on your mood, on your emotion, on your connection to Krishna, and how Krishna reciprocates. And so these are the intimate dealings. So on philosophical level, we are insignificant servants of Krishna. As long as we are connected in service to Krishna, our significance is that. And that's it. We are great, we are special because our parampara is great, and we are connected to our gurus and Srila Prabhupada. They are great. And therefore, as long as I'm connected to that, I'm also special. I'm also significant. I'm unique. But as soon as I get disconnected from that, what is my existence? Who am I? What is my identity? Nothing. Like totally insignificant. So therefore, we need to go through these basic levels to come to the point of ourselves finding what is our unique connection with Krishna. There definitely is, but we can't rush that process. I don't know if I answered the question or I confused you more, but even if I confused you, that was one of the purposes.
Mataji, one thing is there, that how we can understand in relationship with this material world is the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. The same thing that Taruni Mataji asked.
So what's the question?
It's a question like how we can relate with this question in regards to this world. Material world is perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So how we can see this quality in Krishna, or like, it's in the Shastra we read now, the roots is upside down. So how we can relate?
Yeah. See, the soul is Satchitananda, right? We are all, like, without all these conditionings and the masks and the layers of samskaras that we've accumulated, we are naturally attracted to Krishna, right? And we come into this world because Krishna gives us free will. Oh, you want to go, you want to boss over, you want to feel like you're in control. Okay, go to the material world. Because in Vaikuntha Loka, in spiritual world, there is no place for that. There is no place for bossing over, right? We can only try to boss over the material nature here in this material world. So how we can see it as a reflection of Krishna? Again, it depends on the consciousness. Like there's one Vaishnavacharya who sings like, Hala pushpa balligala vallage harivyapta nendaritavage. Like for a devotee who is on an advanced stage of bhava, every step is a yatra to the temple. Everything he's seeing is actually the Lord's forms. Everything he's seeing is actually the empowerment of the Lord. So for him, there is no distinction. For him, it's the same, right? So yes, this material world is a perverted reflection because we are trying to think that I am in control, I am in charge, I'm trying to enjoy separately from Krishna. Therefore, it's perverted. At the same time, we do have Krishna in our hearts. We are souls who are full of knowledge, eternity and bliss. We are those things. So that's why Achintya Veda Tattva makes the most sense, and it's the best philosophy, because it is, yes, simultaneously in this material world, like especially in Kali Yuga, we are doomed, right? Kalaunas, not that one. Manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi upadrita. Srimad Bhagavatam says that in Kali Yuga, we are all dull-headed, dull-minded, lame and lazy, and everything is like much slower than even for our ancestors. So as Kali Yuga is progressing, we're becoming duller and duller, right? At the same time, there's the opposite benefit also of Kali Yuga, that even by just thinking of doing good, we get the result of doing good. And just by doing Harinam Sankirtan, our 7 generations will be liberated, right? So this, as much as this world is a perverted, the word perverted, right? Perverted because it's like a mirage. It's like, it looks like I'm going to get it, but I'm not going to get it. It's only a reflection. It's not something that I can experience. At the same time, in the same world, which is filled with Maya, which is filled with illusion, which is filled with weaknesses and faults and doshas and everything, it is still the greatest of all opportunities to find Krishna, to find devotees, to find Srimad Bhagavatam, to find Zoom. I mean, Yantra Vidya is something Krishna told Arjuna to not accept. No, it was offered to Arjuna, and Krishna said, don't accept. And this Zoom and this computer and internet is all very much Yantra Vidya. So it is perverted. It is the Maya. At the same time, we can see Krishna in it. We can use it. So this needle or this scissor, right, in itself, it can be used to cut somebody's bag and steal their money, or cut somebody's hair and do a prank on them, or it can be used to cut threads and flowers and make garland for Krishna. So yes, the perverted reflection of this world is difficult, is Maya metam taram tite. It is the Maya created by Krishna. It's very difficult to overcome. But at the same time, this is the very place and the only place and the only hope that we can make any advancement. Because in the eyes of a devotee, we do see opportunities to surrender, to all this pain can turn into cries to Krishna, asking Krishna to help us. Is it helping?
Yeah, very true. Got it, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Because there are 2 extremes to see, right? The Mayavadis and the people who are like impersonalists, and there's so many people nowadays in YouTube. There are all kinds of people who are spiritualists. It's like, what is it? Jagat Mityam, right? What is that? What do they call it? Something Satyam Jagat Mityam.
Yeah, Jagat Mithya, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya.
So there's a whole thing of this material world is false. it's nonsense, it's Maya, it's perverted. And, like there's that extreme understanding, which can make us hate this material world. It can make us do mistakes that we did in the beginning of our Hare Krishna movement. If you read some books, if you've seen some proper disciples share, we've seen that they made a lot of mistakes because they had this understanding that Grihastha life is lower, women are like cows, and all kinds of weird philosophies, okay? And so they made a mistake of thinking that Grihastha life is Maya. So all people took sannyas very young, and they were, like going another extreme. All this material world is false, and only Krishna consciousness, only Sankirtan, and da. And then we overdid that, okay? We went overboard. We went to another extreme. And then we had to learn the lessons the hard way. Many sannyasis fell down, and things were going south. And we started realizing that the philosophy we thought was, we were fanatic. We were understanding completely the wrong understanding of Krishna consciousness. And then slowly we started to come now to know, churn the milk. Even in Grihastha life, although Srimad Bhagavatam says that, the wives are like tigers and the children are like jackals who suck your blood and waste your energy, right? Srimad Bhagavatam does say that. Now, is it false what Srimad Bhagavatam says? Is it untrue that this material world is a perverted reflection of spiritual world? No, it is true. But again, on the tattva level, all these aspects are true. But when you come to the rasa aspect and you actually relish your relationship with the devotees, you see each other as companions to walking towards Krishna. And, when we improve, when we upgrade our understanding, and then everything becomes meaningful. And the same material world, which is a danger, the same wife who's like compared to a tiger, can actually become our support system, which can actually help us, inspire us to become serious in our spiritual life. So that's why, reality is not black or white. It's, there's always gray. So these spiritual concepts, these spiritual principles that Srimad Bhagavatam propounds, Vedanta Sutra, for example, Vedanta Sutra says, Tattu Samanvaya. That's the third principle of Vedanta Sutra. The first principle of Vedanta Sutra is Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Come on, figure out, who are you? Who's God? Where is, who is God? Questioning our relationship with this world and with the Lord, and etc. And then the second principle of Vedanta Sutra, the second theorem or the formula is Shastriyonitvat. How do I understand Brahman? How do I understand my identity? How do I understand my relation with Krishna? How do I understand who is God? Shastra. The Shastra tells you the reality of, like Srimad Bhagavatam says, it helps us distinguish reality from illusion so that we can come out of the miseries of this perverted material world, right? But then, Shastras do give contradictory statements. Sometimes Shastra says one thing, say about women, right? Once some Shastra says women should never recite mantras and should not study scriptures. They should just take care of make babies and make chapatis. There are some Manusamhita and some places you can find quotes like that. But then there are also statements by similar Shastric references where we have Gargi, we have Janava Mata, who are Diksha Guru, and we have Ganga Mata Goswamini. We have so many devotees in the history, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kunti Devi, Draupadi. We glorify them even after 5,000 years because they were great pandits, they were scholars, what they wrote, we're still reciting, and we're still trying to figure out even in what to speak of Pingala. She was even actually a prostitute in her previous life. And when she becomes a devotee, her prayers we're still reciting, right? So these are the people. Srimad Bhagavatam, we were discussing this morning in the Bhagavatam class also. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of failures of different people, different pure devotees who had failures on different levels. So there is no, it's not a black and white principle. Oh, Shastra, one thing, we take one thing and take that as everything. That's like understanding Shastra in the mode of ignorance. But understanding Shastra in the mode of goodness is to do Shastra, Tattu Samanvayat, which means to reconcile apparently contradictory principles in the Shastra by our acharyas and use our wisdom, use our God-given intelligence to reconcile and come to the point of a balance. Okay, otherwise we become immature. I mean, we have been emotionally immature movement where we go extremes. So it's a very relevant question. How do we see this world as illusion? At the same time, how do we make a progress? So in order to do that, we need to go through these principles and come to that point of reconciling contradictory statements. There are many statements. Shastra says we fell down from the spiritual world, we are envious and etc. Right? We have like that. We were in the spiritual world, we fell down. And then there are also indications to say once you go back to the spiritual world, you will never come back. Avanapurake hoda janaru ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಗನ್ನ ಹಿಂತಿರುಗಾರು ಅವನು ತಾನೇ ತನಯರನ್ನು. So once we go to the spiritual world, we do not come back. This is also Shastra. And there is Shastra that does say that we fell down from our spiritual identity and we have conditioned, we are, right? It says. So the point is to come to reconciling of the statements. What do I do now? It doesn't matter whether I was there or I was not there. I still want to go there, right? So we work towards that. We don't want to rot in this material world. So the same principle that this material world is a perverted reflection, it still is the way for us to go out of this material world. So it's the beautiful philosophy that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established, which is Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. Simultaneously one and different. So that principle can be applied on so many different levels. Yes, this material world is false, is illusion. At the same time, you can use this material body in service of the Lord. You can use these eyes to see the form of the Lord. You can use these hands to serve the Lord. So the same very elements, which is just matter. It's just matter, blood and bones and muscles and skin. That's it. Yes, is it false? Well, it's temporary, right? But it can be used in Krishna's service. So whether this scissor is spiritual or not, it depends on the usage. If I use it for Krishna's service, it becomes spiritualized. In itself, it's matter. So the same thing with our material body also. Yes, it's a perverted world of reflection, but how I progress towards the goal of Krishna consciousness, the same, they say, make a, good deal of the bad bargain. Yes, we are in this horrible material world, but we can. This is the internet and this yantra thing is as horrible. But we can take advantage to come together like this. Some of you are in UK, somebody is in New Jersey, another is in Kolkata, right? One of you, Rukmini Priya Mataji, where are you right now?
In Baltimore.
Sorry?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore, right? Rajeshwari Radhika is in Jain, I'm in Sri Mayapur, and the same technology, which is scary and Maya and degrading so many millions of people, is helping. We are using it, right? So it's called Yukta Vairagya. So the principle of Yukta Vairagya helps us to turn this perverted reflection and rotting in this material world to uplifting our consciousness, like that. Any other comments? Anybody else wants to add something else?
So we have all the recipes in our Shastra. Now we have to try and taste.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have the Sangha of devotees.
They are expert cooks.
Huh? What does that? Say that again?
I said the Sangha of devotees are like our expert cooks for teaching us to make nice recipes.
True.
And different devotees are telling different recipes, the same ingredients. So like that same verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, different devotees, giving different what you call ideas for different recipes. So wow. And I'm just cooking now, so it's like so fit for me right now. Thanks.
So it's very important, my dear Vaishnavis, studying scriptures. Keep progressing, keep going forward. Keep finding association that matches your like-mindedness, and keep advancing, keep moving on. Don't look behind. Don't look at the faults. Don't look at the half glass empty. Look at the half glass full. Yes, this material world is full of betrayal. People hurt us. People disrespect us. People don't value our whatever it is we have to offer. At the same time, we do not stop. We keep going forward, and we keep looking at, yes, people are not trustworthy. People can betray us. It doesn't mean we stop trusting, right? We keep going forward. We hold on to Krishna's dhoti. We hold on to Guru Maharaj's dhoti. And then we keep going ahead. Get back up. Falling is everybody's destiny. Everybody will trip and fall. But what is the thing is, get back up and keep going forward. Never give up hope. Never give up. Utsahan nishchaya dhairya tat tat karma pravartana. Sangatyagat sato vritte. Sadbhir bhaktir prasilati. So we need to keep having enthusiasm, give up bad association, keep moving forward with determination, no matter what happens.
But sometimes it is really difficult when you have like past experiences. Then हिंदी में कहते हैं कि दूध का जला हुआ छाछ भी फूक फूक कर पीता है.
Yes. Tell me about it. No,
And you know what I learned for this? We have to learn to be vulnerable. That's when there is growth. Yes, it happened like that in previous things, but then unless we are vulnerable, right, and we kind of open up, there is no chance at all. We're just closing all doors. So we should not do that, right?
Yeah. We should be vulnerable with Krishna. We should be vulnerable with ourselves. And then when Krishna sends us the right people, we should be, they say, at least be true to yourself. Sometimes, we are denying some things. We can start being true to ourselves. And then the path will open up. It's not easy, but like Rajeshwari Radhika said, it's difficult to live amongst people who are pretentious or in the name of devotee. That there is this picture of a jackal, like a fox, but he's wearing like a dress of a sheep. So sometimes we are in a world like that. We are surrounded by people who are very bad. And so it can be very difficult. But you know what? Krishna is our Lord. And there's nothing impossible for the Lord. So we keep trusting Krishna and we keep doing our thing. And Dharma will always protect us. If not today, tomorrow. So we keep doing our duty. We keep doing our best. We keep our side of the street clean. We keep purifying our heart. We never lower our standards because other people are bad. But we keep getting stronger. But we learned some diplomatic strategies to deal with the world. We can't be authentic and vulnerable with everybody, no?
One thing is there, what I experienced, when the situation is there and you really want to react, but somehow you hold it back, and afterwards you will get tremendous energy, power, whatever you say, that you will feel very good, that the moment has passed and you have not reacted.
Oh, it's powerful.
This is really what I learned especially during these festivals time. You just give a smile and just shut your mouth. Then it will really
power. It's true. It's so true. It gives us a sense of strength when we are doing the right thing, such as like Srimad Bhagavatam says, right? Guna damat anukroshan, gunadikan mudam lipset. Sometimes there are devotees who are not doing best. We don't waste our energy. We don't argue. Just like you said, smile. Internally, well, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about. But Hare Krishna. So we keep our peace and we keep our harmony, right? And then we keep going on. In that context you meant, right?
Yeah, true. Thank you so much. At least I'm able to open up a little bit.
Yeah, I can actually go off